Hello, I'm a news person, and here is some special news. Amateur scientists and professional sleuthsters at the Washington Post and other news outlets have discovered tangible proof of the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics, and it was right under our noses the entire time, or rather, one very specific orange nose. No, that's not even a real fish. Trump's nose. Talk about Trump's nose. Nailed it. The many worlds interpretation, more commonly called the multiverse theory, is the idea that every possible outcome of past events played out in a parallel universe, of which there are an infinite number. Basically, every single alternate history you can imagine totally exists in one of these parallel worlds, and it looks as if gateways to these fanciful time streams are hidden in each one of President Donald J. Trump, the president's, numerous private golf clubs. With us to describe the alternate dimension channeling into our world through these golf clubs is one of the president's most trusted national archivists, many historians. Many?
Hello, it's great to be here.
I can't imagine why. Now, many, Mr. Historians, until the discovery of this parallel dimensional wormhole, I think it's safe to say that most Americans, myself included, assumed the president was lying, or perhaps incredibly stupid, when he would do things like imply Frederick Douglas is still alive, or that the Panama Canal was recently constructed, and cite you as his source. But now we know that the president has merely confused the history of the parallel world contained within his 17 private country clubs with the established reality with which his constituents are more familiar.
That's absolutely correct, Cody. You see, in our timeline, Frederick Douglass has been alive for centuries, and President Trump himself oversaw the completion of the Panama Canal just a few months ago after being inspired by a water hazard in one of his legendary golf courses.
Fascinating. Now, 2 weeks ago, the Washington Post's David Fahrenthold discovered that there are Time magazine covers hanging in 8 of President Donald J. Trump, the president's, private golf clubs, of which he owns 17, representing an issue of the magazine that doesn't exist. Of course, all of us assumed that this meant that the cover was a hilarious phony, which, despite looking like a high school class president's campaign poster, is framed and displayed prominently in roughly half of the private resorts bearing the president's name, despite the fact that they made Jimmy Carter sell his humble peanut farm. Now, are we safe in assuming, given this new information, that this is in fact a genuine Time magazine cover that came from an issue that was actually published in your parallel dimension?
Absolutely, yes. This is perhaps the most famous cover of any magazine ever produced, even more so than that National Geographic one with the picture of the hooded Afghan refugee girl.
Well, I can see why. It features a dignified picture of Donald J. Trump, the racist marzipan sculpture that was recently elected president of a whole country, along with a headline congratulating him on his TV show, which is not a thing that Time magazine does.
Cody, Time magazine has a long history of commenting exuberantly on network television programs on their covers.
In your universe.
Sure.
The not photoshopped and totally real issue, dated March 1st, 2009, is an incredible scientific discovery in that it is a relic from a parallel world. Do you think President Trump would be willing to donate some of them to a research institute or a university for further study?
Absolutely. The president can print out as many of those as we need.
Remarkable. I also wanted to take a moment to point out the headline across the top that reads, "Trump is hitting on all fronts, even in TV," with an exclamation point, which is not a thing Time magazine does in our world. So I wanted to know, in your reality, Mr. Historians, like, what fronts, man? I mean, all of them, but like, which ones specifically? The reality TV show front and
the magazine cover front.
This discovery also sheds brilliant new light on the Civil War memorial contained in his Virginia course commemorating the historic Civil War battle, the River of Blood, which is not a battle that ever took place in our world. Indeed, many historians, other than yourself, many historians, confirmed that 0 battles of the Civil War took place anywhere near President Trump's adult playtime camp.
Cody, it is the most famous battle of the Civil War. I've read many papers by numerous historians written about the River of Blood. Numerous historians is my esteemed colleague, of course, although I want to make it clear that we're not of relation.
Indeed. Now, the president cites your colleague, numerous historians, in his justification for the seemingly fake and made-up battle. His explanation for the timeline discrepancy makes an incredible amount of sense in light of the discovery of this parallel world, because he suggests that was a prime site for river crossings. So, if people are crossing the river and you happen to be in a civil war, I would say that people were shot. A lot of them. Now, taken at face value, this is utter f***ing gibberish.
Of course.
But knowing what we now know about the parallel universe from which Trump draws most of his history, this string of previously insane words now takes on an elegant new life, because he seems to be referring to the many worlds theory itself by suggesting, hey, many people could have been shot, so that means many people were shot in actual fact.
That's absolutely correct, Cody. The president is cunningly referring to the quantum physics interpretation that explains his seemingly contradictory view of history, which I and my colleagues can confirm is a matter of documented fact in our world, and not a bunch of hastily invented lies. In our world, Abraham Lincoln delivered his famous River of Blood address in the exact spot marked by the commemorative plaque on President Trump's private golf course.
I cannot tell you what a relief it is for this reporter to learn that the president is not a liar or a dummy, but actually a plain-striding magician that merely confused the details of his intertwined realities. Now, is it safe to assume that in your reality, the emoluments clause doesn't exist, and a president is actually allowed to own 17 private country clubs, hotels, and other businesses that create a direct conflict of interest with the office?
Oh, no, that's illegal as shit. Everyone's just sort of fine with it, though.
I can relate.
Sucks.
Yeah. He sucks. Hey everybody, thanks for watching some of the news. If you want to subscribe to our channel, click the big C in the middle. If you want notifications, click the bell icon. And if you want more news, I don't know, look at other places. There's a lot of it.